The president's attorney general vigorously denies conspiring with the Russians to fix last fall's election.
The suggestion that I participated in any collusion is an appalling and detestable lie.
Do you like Jason Bourne or James Bond movies?
No. Yes, I do.
He basically uncovered or sort of exposed the absurdity of this whole exercise.
A massive fire in a high-rise out of London.
We could hear people screaming, "Help me, help me."
An American college student detained in North Korea for 17 months is back in Cincinnati, Ohio.
You have the Democrats on the other side who truly have become obstructionists. Even their new motto, resist. And I guess it's a pretty accurate motto.
We're here to talk about the dignity of work and the greatness of the American worker. It's called Earn While You Learn. I love the name Apprentice. Great word.
Well, it is Flag Day, the 14th day of June. It is also our president's birthday. And there, ladies and gentlemen, the largest flying American flag. It's out in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Look at that. You can see how small the people are next to it, just to give you a sense of how big this thing is.
We're going to watch it here.
Honey, I Shrunk Janice Dean. But no, I just think it's also the birthday of the Army. On top of that, so it's a big day all around.
And a birthday of the president.
Yeah, it's also day 2 of the release of Newt Gingrich's book.
Are you talking about this one right here?
Yes.
Understanding Trump, written by this man right here. Mr. Speaker, if you understand Trump, you know that if he's got a problem, he wants to fix it. This Russian thing's not going away. So he said, you know what, Jeff Sessions, go out there and tell him what you know. He did it yesterday. How did he do?
I think every Republican ought to study Sessions. He was angry. He was direct. He took on the left head on. He raised the right emotional tone. Republicans got to realize this is a real war. The left wants to destroy them. And being passive and being slow doesn't count.
Louis Gohmert hopped on with us last Friday, and he said he was disappointed in the Republican Party. He goes, why am I the only one out here? After the big Comey interview, the Republicans went dark. Instead of going to bat for their party and their president.
Comey gave them so much ammunition. They could have spent the whole weekend in every town hall in the country just talking about what Comey revealed.
Maybe they fear that there was something there, and now it's so clear that after the Attorney General yesterday, there isn't. Here is Jeff Sessions talking about collusion.
I was your colleague in this body for 20 years, at least some of you, and I participated in the suggestion that I participated in any collusion, that I was aware of any collusion with the Russian government to hurt this country, which I have served with honor for 35 years, or to undermine the integrity of our democratic process, is an appalling and detestable lie.
Now, take that clip. If every Republican could learn the tone and the intensity, and every time a Democrat attacks them on health care, turn and say, wait a second, you passed Obamacare. You destroyed the insurance system. You left millions of people without coverage. How can you talk to us when you haven't got the guts to reform anything?
You know, the American people are wondering when this is going to end, because you said the Democrats are not going to let this go no matter what is said from the Republican side.
I'm going to predict right now. The war against Trump will end on January 20th, 2025, as he leaves office.
Yeah.
Two terms.
And the new war will start against Pence or somebody.
Sure.
Because if we elect a Republican to follow Trump, the left is just going to keep going crazy.
That's not fair to the American people, because they say, you know, we want to talk about health care, as you just mentioned. We want to talk about the economy. We want to talk about national security. Sure. And all we have heard since he's been president across the media is about Russia collusion, which there's still nothing.
But part of that's Trump's problem. I mean, Reagan knew, if Trump, for example, the House just passed a really important Veterans Administration bill. I mean, really one of the most important reform bills ever for the Veterans Administration.
Because it's going to make health care, it's electronic. They're going to go right from the
reforms their ability to run the place. Dr. Shulkin is maybe the most effective Veterans Administration we've ever seen. He's a tremendous guy. But they need to take an entire week to talk about all their accomplishments with the veterans, just to make it impossible for some of the networks to avoid them.
Sure. Newt, don't you think part of Jeff Sessions, our Attorney General's, his frustration when he's there with people he'd worked with for many, many years was, come on, you people, you know this is a made-up story. And some of you people sitting on that side are making me sound like I'm a KGB agent that you just discovered.
Look, one of the great problems Republicans have is they come out of a culture where they think we're going to be reasonable. The other side is in the Super Bowl with full pads coming straight at you to knock you on your butt. And they're all kind of going, gee, this isn't really very nice. No, it's not. You want the Democrats are fighting for power. But they think their very ideological way of life is at stake.
Well, you know what's interesting is yesterday I'm flipping around because I watched Secretary of former Senator Jeff Sessions talk about, as Attorney General, why he recused himself. Goes, it makes perfect sense. I have to recuse myself. I was with the campaign. You're investigating the campaign. How could I run this investigation? On collusion. Are you kidding me? A passing greeting that I might have seen with the ambassador in the Mayflower Hotel in front of 1,000 people.
That's it.
And it was so effective that they were forced to talk about health care. So you were talking about issues, and they were actually doing something different. So when Sessions is effective, then all of a sudden there's going to be they're going to have to talk about policy, because when the president makes it easy for them, they're able to make this a soap opera.
That's like Callista's band was in France last week playing at Normandy, and the last part of the trip was in Paris, and we actually had 5 people from the band in Notre Dame when the guy with the hammer attacked the police. And so they're locked down in Notre Dame, but this is the modern era. So they put on their cell phones. They're going back and forth between BBC and one of your competitors who is viciously anti-Trump. BBC's covering the terrorist at Notre Dame. The anti-Trump network is talking about attacking Trump.
Of course.
Of course it is.
They said it was unbelievable to watch this.
So, perfect segue here, talking about media. You might have been the bravest person on television yesterday. You went on The View, and you did a great job. But there was one exchange you had with Whoopi Goldberg. Let's watch this.
If you look at for example, CNN's 93% negative coverage, according to Harvard, 93% negative. I think it's a miracle that Trump has any approval. I mean,
my God.
You have this constant, unending barrage.
Question 2. Go ahead. I recall, and maybe I'm crazy, but I recall from the time the gentleman came down the escalator until the time he won, he was 24/7 on every television, on every network.
Yes.
It was all positive until people started asking questions. Now,
No, it wasn't all positive.
I'm sorry.
It was live coverage of what
it was all noisy. No, it was all noisy, but it wasn't all positive.
No, it was 98% of it was positive, Newt.
Oh, I have a question.
I know you disagree with it, but I don't care.
Your face in that moment says it all.
Oh, look, I like Whoopi. We've known each other for years, but she lives in an alternative universe. I mean,
but all of them do. I would think that everyone at CNN would tell you that almost all the negative stuff is negative.
Well, CNN actually thinks they're a news network.
Yeah.
Well, they have a whole fantasy life.
Well, Donald Trump, when he was running for president, was a genius at figuring out how to get free media. And you were on this show talking about that, and you depicted it as largely negative. I think a lot of our viewers would probably say it was negative as well, but he was on TV. They're right about that.
But Trump understood the theory that if he could drown everybody out,
he did.
Then even whether it was good or bad, you knew his name, and you didn't know who the other 16 were.
He was able to do that well. Talk to us about your book, Understanding Trump, because as we talk about him, he's probably one of the most tough to figure out people today. And maybe that's a good thing.
This is a great marketer over here. Good job, Steve. We're proud of you. Pandering works.
Now the hard part. Tell me how you understand President Trump.
But let me start with this. This is not predicting Trump. I don't think you can predict Trump. I don't think Trump can predict Trump. He doesn't know yet what he's going to do tomorrow morning. But I think you start with the idea that this is a business entrepreneur, not a CEO of a stable corporation, but an entrepreneur, a guy who gets up in the morning and says, I want to get something big done.
Different.
Very different. And one of the great challenges that even the professional media who are serious have is they keep trying to put him back in this box called traditional politician.
Sure.
And he's not. I mean, he is a very aggressive guy. For example, he learned out of New York 1, page 6 rather. He learned out of page 6, always counterattack. So if you watch him, you don't even think about it. You punch him, he punches you back immediately.
That's why he loves Twitter, and that's why he's never going to give up Twitter, because it's his direct line to the people.
I have said to him on occasion, 10% less Trump would be 100% more.
Has he read your book, Speaker? Has he read your book?
No, I don't think so, although the family was very generous, and the pictures in the middle of the book, many of them came from the family.
So I think, give an example with the Khan family. He sees a guy get up there and doesn't even know him and starts attacking him brutally, so he attacks back.
That's automatic.
Doesn't see there's a problem. With James Comey, he goes, this guy's incompetent. He's off on a line. I'm going to get rid of him. Not thinking about the next. He created problems for himself because he's thinking unconventionally.
But part of that, I think, is because he has fired people before. Remember, the most famous single phrase in The Apprentice is, "You're fired."
Sure.
Okay. And he always knows if you fire somebody, you're going to have a bitter former employee who has a choice. Was it Comey's fault or is it Trump's fault? Comey picked Trump. I think Trump would have said to you, "What do you think he's going to do?"
Great.
And I think, in that sense, I think Trump says you live it out and you keep moving.
All right, great book. If you're looking for something to take to the beach this summer, check it out. Understanding Trump.
Or take Newt to the beach. Either Newt or the book.
There you go.
Take the book.
Right.
The book's more interesting than I am.
Oh, you on the beach? Okay, fine.
Speaker, always good to have you here.
Our best to the ambassador, by the way.
Yeah, and to your dad. I mean,
exciting
they're going to be in
times.
ambassadorial school together. It's great.
Oh yeah, I prematurely announced that 2 months ago, but it's okay for Newt Gingrich to say
Although
that.
she's going to Rome.
I
better
hope.
pizza there.
She's got to go through the Senate before
They
she
both
goes
do.
anywhere.
Well, they both do, so that'll be interesting. Good to have you here, Speaker.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, it is 7:11 here in New York City now. Jillian's got the headlines, and we start in London.
That's right. We are following breaking news out of London at this hour. A raging inferno tears through a skyscraper in London, leaving at least 6 people dead. The death toll expected to rise. At least 50 people are hurt right now, and there are concerns the building may collapse. Witnesses watching in horror as trapped residents screamed, waved flags, even dropped their children to safety. The fire starting early in the morning when most people were asleep. At this hour, the fire is still burning right now. You can see some video from the daytime. The cause is under investigation. The building recently underwent renovations. We will keep you updated on the latest information. Right now, there is a nationwide manhunt underway for a pair of escaped inmates who killed 2 prison guards. You can see their pictures right there. Donnie Rowe and Ricky DeBose shot the guards on a prison bus just outside of Atlanta with the guards' own guns.
I saw 2 brutally murdered Christians officers. That's what I saw. I have their blood on my shoes.
Right now, they're on the run in a green Honda Civic that they carjacked. Both men are career criminals with histories of armed robberies and assault. Rowe is serving life without parole. Police now offering a $70,000 reward to find them. A U.S. college student back on American soil this morning after being imprisoned in North Korea for more than 17 months. 22-year-old Otto Warmbier landing in Cincinnati overnight, where he was taken to a hospital in a coma. North Korea claims he got botulism last March, shortly after being sentenced to 15 years of hard labor for trying to steal a political poster. Warmbier was in North Korea as a tourist when he was arrested. That's a look at your headlines, guys. I'll send it back to you.
What a sad story.
A lot of sad stories this morning. Thank you, Jillian.
All right, still ahead on this Wednesday. Is Hillary Clinton going to make another run for the White House, or is it time for her simply to move on? We just heard the answer from one of her closest allies. You will want to hear it coming up.
Plus, Mad Dog Mattis says we are not winning in Afghanistan, so President Trump just did something huge to turn that around. Rob Schmidt has all of those details up next.
All right, the White House giving the Pentagon its power back in many ways, opening the door to sending more troops in Afghanistan. It's up to them.
The move comes after Defense Secretary testified that the real Trump administration military buildup is coming.
Rob Schmidt joins us live with all of those details this morning. Rob, good to see you.
Good to see you guys, too.
Morning.
Yeah, word from his defense secretary that we are losing the war in Afghanistan to the Taliban got the president's attention. President Trump now allowing the Pentagon to have full control of troop numbers in Afghanistan, and that likely means thousands more will be heading there as requested by commanders on the ground. Now, part of the problem, military funding, which saw dramatic cuts under the Obama administration. The former president thought the U.S. spent entirely too much money on defense. Senator John McCain says since 2011, spending caps mandated by the Budget Control Act have led to a 23% cut to our nation's defense. McCain and Mattis agree this has depleted our military. The president's budget bumps up defense spending, but Not by enough, according to Senator McCain. Defense Secretary Mattis says no enemy has done more to harm our combat readiness than budget sequestration. His message to politicians: do your job. Pass the 2018 budget in a timely manner to prevent harm to the military by more cuts. We have now been at war since right after 9/11, 16 years in Afghanistan, and Secretary Mattis says the Taliban is now winning.
Do you agree that we're not winning in Afghanistan?
Sir, I understand the urgency. I understand it's my responsibility. We're not winning in Afghanistan right now, and we will correct this as soon as possible.
Earlier this year, the president gave Secretary Mattis control of troop levels in Iraq and Syria as well, an indication of the deep trust the president has in Mattis's capabilities. And you're right, Brian, he didn't say that the Taliban is winning that war, but he did say that we are losing that war in Afghanistan, which is a big statement for somebody to say.
You know what the president said yesterday to the Secretary of Defense? You tell me how many troops you need. That is a dream statement from a president to a Secretary of Defense.
And if you listen to Krauthammer last night on Special Report, we're sitting on a powder keg. We've got North Korea, we've got ISIS. It's a mess. This is not the time to be cutting your defense. It's the time to be, spending more.
Or focusing on collusion with Russia, perhaps.
All right. Rob, thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks, Rob. Good to see you. All right, coming up, it's called the Criminal Justice Reform Act. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, no. It will let people drink booze and then pee in the streets. The disgusting details ahead.
Do we read that out loud?
Sorry.
Did we say that?
No, not at breakfast time. We would never say that.
I didn't think so.
And when he was a kid, his dream was to work at the Fox News Channel. Well, you know what? That day is today. You'll meet the newest member of the Fox and Friends family, Todd Pirro. Next.
Todd!
You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get.
Darn it.
Hey, it's time to welcome the newest member of our Fox and Friends family. Todd Pirro's here. Hey, Todd.
It's great to be here. This is a dream come true. As many of you know, I was an intern here back in 1998. And the family ties also run pretty deep here. My grandfather, late grandfather, used to watch this show religiously, used to refer to it as the Friends with Ducey. That's the show he used to watch.
Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
But this is his tie. And I figure on a pretty special day, it's a tie from like the 60s or 70s, on a special day for me and for my family. This is awesome to be able to sort of wear this tie.
It still works today.
It does. Doesn't it work?
Yeah.
I'm a big family guy, as you're about to see. And
He would be so proud of you.
yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable where we have come as a family and where I've come here, and this is just unreal. And here's a little snippet of my story and the family that got me here. We're taking a trip here to the great town of Verona, New Jersey. And this right here is the house where I spent my first 18 years of life. Great house in a great neighborhood with great neighbors and really great friends. Buddy, how you doing? How are you? Best friend growing up, Dave Okino, right down the street from where we went to elementary school. How long have we known each other?
Since kindergarten.
Look at that. I really have Anchorman hair in that photo.
You seriously do.
Look at that.
What are you doing now? Oh, okay. Give it to Uncle Todd.
What?
Get that football for Uncle Todd.
Great.
Do we have one?
Can you get the football?
Can you throw it to him?
Oh! This is the field, quote unquote, where we used to play. It's basically the front lawn of Forest Avenue Elementary School. Oh, we still got it!
Where are you going next?
We're going to VHS, Verona High School. Walking around the halls here, it's just so strange to be back. Hear that? That's the sound of the marching drums. I was a member of the Verona High School Marching Maroon and White.
Oh my God, Todd.
How are you? I can't believe you remembered this.
You're awesome. Of course I remember. You played soccer?
Coach.
How are you, man?
How are you?
Good to see you.
I think you would say, and you would agree, like, I wasn't the most athletic kid out there, by no stretch of the imagination, but I tried.
We held our own. You know, we did the best we can. We had fun too. Don't forget, I'm 70.
Don't forget, I'm an old man too. Okay, so you saw where I grew up there in Verona, New Jersey. Now we're taking it to Belmar, New Jersey, which is where my parents live now, here at the Jersey Shore. Thank you, Lord, for great family, great food, and for bringing everybody together. All right, can we eat?
Does anybody remember when Todd was really, really young, like a baby, and he had such puffy cheeks?
So who thought I would get into this TV game?
You always liked the audience. You did.
I think she's politely saying you like attention.
And I'm very proud of you because you're living your dream.
And for me, it's one thing that I do admire is that you're doing what you like and now finally winding up back in New York.
Moving back to the East Coast was important because I miss my family.
Hey, family. But, Amelia. But there was one other big thing
coming home.
We have a little announcement. Todd and I got engaged over the weekend.
Can you believe it's been 3 years? This very spot. Proposed.
You set it up really well. I mean, it was a really romantic scene. You had a dozen roses, right? You had champagne.
Best day of my life, only to be topped by our wedding. The only thing that would have made that day sweeter, ice cream. Let's go now. How long have we been coming to Holland's?
When you were younger, we used to come here like 3 or 4 times a week.
Anybody who knows me knows this is my zen. Little ice cream, family, taking a look at the ocean. There really is nothing better. That was awesome.
Aww.
One guy's missing. My brother. As we were filming that, he was in process of becoming a dad. We are now welcoming Zoe Eliza into our family. And she's absolutely
exciting.
gorgeous.
I think your wife was my favorite in that whole package.
She's my favorite.
Let's be real. You just want attention.
Oh, yeah, but she's awesome. She's the love of my life, and she makes life worth living.
How'd you get the head of the table?
I paid my dad off.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is Big Pete's spot.
Anytime you bring a TV crew with you, you get to sit wherever you want to. Now, something that was not in there is, in addition to, after you left New Jersey, you went to college, you went to law school.
Yes.
You're a lawyer.
I am, but by no means am I a lawyer of the likes of Judge Janine or Judge Napolitano. I told them that on day one here. They're like, you're a lawyer. I was like, I'm sort of a lawyer. You know, don't start grilling me on the Constitution day one, but hopefully I can give a little insight throughout the course of my time.
Hey, you know the three of us need that.
Always. We'll keep you on retainer.
Well, this is just spectacular. I thank you all for welcoming me to the family, and I can't wait to be welcomed into your home. Hopefully I won't do anything to like